we are back with another League Championship Series update right here on the Kenikka Sports Show, everybody. And both road teams have now taken a 2-0 lead as we resume play tonight in the American League. Are the Blue Jays and the Brewers cooked, everybody? We're talking about it right here. But first, if this is your first time here, please do us a solid. Like this video, subscribe to the channel, and please ring that bell for our mascot, Frexy, because she just loves attention, everybody. All right. Well, I want to take a second and welcome in my co-host, Nika. Welcome to the show here as we get ready to talk some League Championship Series latest. We got the NL and the AL. We're going to start in the American League since they are resuming play this evening in Seattle. And they've been sleepless up there in Seattle since about Sunday night, I think, because the Mariners not only do what they needed to do by winning one of these first two games in Toronto, they just go right on ahead and they win both of them.
Yep. They said, hold my beer. We got this.
Holy cow. If they listened to our show, they would know they're ahead of the game.
They are. Yeah.
No, they steal home field, and then they just didn't put on the brakes there. They kept trucking right through game two, winning 10-3.
They did, and they seem like they have a bigger prize at the end of this. They're looking for a bigger prize.
Yes, their whole postseason moniker is seize the moment. Like they are trying to capitalize on this moment, because when you're a franchise like the Mariners, you know that these moments haven't been very frequent. This is their first time in 24 years playing for the pennant. And like we said, they've never been beyond this point in their entire history.
So this is all new territory for them.
It's new territory.
Momentum.
And they have the momentum, and they're going to have a rocking crowd tonight.
Perfect.
Holy cow. The Blue Jays, this must seem like a bad nightmare for them. This series started almost near perfect. George Springer homers on the first pitch from Bryce Miller, opposite field. You're a Mariners fan. You're probably thinking, oh, boy. And then all of a sudden, they go quiet. You know, they scored 34 runs in 4 games against the Yankees. The Blue Jays did. They scored 4 runs now in 2 games against the Mariners. So they go from 8.5 runs a game in that series to now just 2 runs a game in this series. Like, did they just forget to show up or something?
Or did they had a goal to beat the Yankees this season, and that was it?
We did talk about that.
Yeah.
We did talk about that, and that's a division rival, and the Blue Jays seem to get into it with everybody in their division.
Of course
the Red Sox, the Yankees,
the
Orange
Orioles.
Birds.
Yep.
You know, that's the battle of the birds.
Sure.
And even, I don't know, the Rays, I guess.
Maybe
someday. They're not quite large enough to get into a fight with yet, but they might be next year.
Next year?
No, Toronto's gone quiet, and it's kind of been surprising, especially at home. And you got to wonder what they're thinking right now as a team. Like, there's got to be a lot of doubt creeping in, and no one really comes back when you lose the first 2 at home in a best-of-7 series. We'll talk about it. The Mariners, meanwhile, seem to be getting hotter than they've ever been since we've been watching them.
Perfect time.
They are hitting. Cal Raleigh goes deep in game 1. The leader that he is, he gets the Mariners he gets them, I think, a lead in game 1. But Julio does it in game 2 in the first inning. 3-run homer. Batter number 3. I mean, you talk about a backbreaker. Now, Toronto did come back and tie this game, but it didn't matter.
Nope.
The Mariners just kept coming. They win 10-3. Jorge Polanco, a.k.a. George Bonds, as I hear his nickname is, he gets 5 RBIs in the first 2 games of this series. Plus, he had the game-winning RBI in that long 15-inning extra inning game.
He switched on his postseason mode.
He did. He
totally did.
That's awesome for the Mariners because they need a leader like that to show them the ropes a little bit.
A little bit. So Polanco's a little older.
Yeah, he is. And like for guys like Julio and Cal Raleigh that haven't been here a lot, you know, this is a good leadership role for Jorge Polanco and he seems to be taking to it just fine.
Yeah.
So let's look ahead. We got game 3 tonight and game 4 tomorrow. Shane Bieber going for the Blue Jays. Not going to be an easy opponent for the Mariners on the mound, but they get George Kirby, Furious George, on the mound tonight, starting Game 3 at home.
It's not easy either.
Seems to be a theme for the Mariners to put George Kirby on the mound in Seattle. I wonder if there's like data that shows he pitches better at home versus the road.
Home field advantage for George. Maybe he doesn't get as angry
Maybe.
at home.
Maybe he keeps it a little bit cooler on the home mound.
But I like the new mustache.
I do. He definitely has the Chicago police officer thing going on. He could be an extra in those Chicago PD or even Chicago Fire, whatever, or MD if they need a police officer in the scene.
Sure.
Tomorrow we got Max Scherzer versus Luis Castillo.
Shit.
Yeah, Mad Max is getting busted out of the toolkit for Game 4 here.
Wow, interesting.
Very interesting. I mean, is that a desperation Hail Mary by the Blue Jays or a strategic move?
I think it's more of a strategic move.
I don't know if he's got anything left to give. We haven't seen him in the postseason yet.
Exactly. It
Yeah.
can go either way.
We'll see if he's been saving up but throwing, and who knows.
Age plays a
Luis
factor.
Castillo for the Mariners. He also has been pretty damn good so far in the postseason.
Postseason, yeah.
He came in that Game 5 late in the game
Yep.
and held the fort down for the Mariners to pull off that extra inning win in the ALDS, I should say. Nika,
Yeah.
Game 5 is to be decided for both teams. I mean, it looks like Brian Wu might not even have to pitch in this series for the Mariners.
Well, that would depends, really.
It's
how
pretty
they do,
crazy, right? Here I was thinking ahead of this series that he needs to pitch if they have any hope of advancing, and now they're in this driver's seat where they don't even necessarily need him.
I know, but if the game goes again 15 innings, they might.
That is a good point, and it's nice to have that
In your back pocket?
in your back pocket potentially, especially if it goes to Game 5 per se, and you don't want to go back to Toronto.
No.
If you're the Mariners, do the Blue Jays have any chance here, Nika? Do
What are
you
the
see
odds?
any pathway?
What are the odds of a team that has?
Oh, that's a
that
great question. Let me dial up the poly markets really fast,
Well, not
folks.
just that, but for a team to come back when they're 2-0.
Well, it's not unheard of, but I don't know what the odds are when you lose the first two on the road. I would say that has a very low percentage chance
Of coming back.
happening.
Yeah.
Right now, the Mariners have an 84% chance of advancing to the World Series on Polymarket. So not a lot of money to be made there. Now, if you choose the Blue Jays to make it at this point, there is a ton of money to be made
Of course. They're underdog.
That is funny and probably true. Let me bring my notes back up as we did a Polymarket break there. All right. I don't think the Blue Jays have much of a chance here, but obviously I think tonight is a must-win game for them. I think if they go down 3-0,
Pack your bags, go home.
you might as well just not even show up for Game 4 or 5, whatever. I mean, even if you win one, I think it's a fairy tale.
Yes.
Now, the Blue Jays, I want to remind everyone, did win a 3-game series on the road at Seattle earlier this year. It was way earlier this year. I think it was back in April.
Doesn't count.
It doesn't count. And
Sorry.
and meanwhile, the Mariners, though, won 2 out of 3 in Toronto. So there is that pattern that's holding.
It doesn't matter.
Your backs
Postseason
are
is
against the wall.
postseason.
The Dodgers are, I'm sorry, the Blue Jays are in a very tough spot right now. All right. Well, I said the Dodgers just a second ago, Freudian slip, but we are going to turn our attentions to Hollywood, to the land of make-believe, where the Brewers and Dodgers are now going to move their series,
Okay.
which, unfortunately, for the Milwaukee faithful, for the Brew Crew, for the Magic Brew, whatever you want to call it, it's not going well right now. They are down 2-0. The Dodgers just look virtually unstoppable right now, Nika.
Yeah, they look like a totally different new team with a good pitching staff. All of a sudden, everything is clicking on the right cylinders.
It is, right? Their weakness hasn't even had an opportunity to really reveal itself this series, minus that Game 1 9th inning.
Well, that was their goal for this season, to build for October. And we see it.
It seems like it. Meanwhile, their starting pitching couldn't possibly be any better, I feel like. And I want to start with game one, Blake Snell. 8 innings pitched. Blake Snell, 8 innings, 1 hit given up, 0 runs, 0 walks, and 10 strikeouts. Blake Snell.
I know.
No walks in a postseason
Amazing.
high leverage game.
Amazing. He looks like the pitcher from Tampa Bay that he was.
You know,
versus now.
I've criticized Blake Snell for years. You know, before this was a video show, it was a podcast. You can go back and find the April 2023 show episodes. I tore Blake Snell a new one because he did an interview with the San Diego Union Tribune, I believe, and his pitching coach in San Diego, Ruben Niebla, who he very much values as a person still. They did this sit-down interview together and talked about how Blake Snell is going to be better this year because he's accepting walks as a part of his game. And I rolled at the time, and I was very critical at the time because I said, what's going to happen in a playoff game when Blake Snell's muscle memory kicks in and he walks 4 guys in a start because everyone's training him to be like, it's okay. It's just you.
It's okay to walk.
I don't like this idea that we don't challenge our players, especially our high-paid players. And I feel like the Dodgers have just challenged Blake and
They did.
challenged him to be better than he was, and he has responded, maybe because he's on a team where not all the pressure's on him.
Maybe.
I don't know.
That plays a factor, but most guys on this caliber want to be challenged.
Yeah. And they want to have the opportunity to show that, Blake is a competitor.
Sure.
He's highly competitive. You can see that when he's out there. That's why he gets frustrated,
Of course.
because he wants to do better. And it seems like the Dodgers have unlocked that in him. This is amazing. By the way, the 1 hit that he gave up, he picked that runner off of base. So he technically faced the minimum through 8 innings. And there's only listen to this. The last 2 pitchers to face the minimum through 8 innings in a postseason game were Don Larson in the 1956 World Series Game 5, the only perfect game in postseason history,
Wow.
and Blake Snell, 2025 NLCS Game 1. That's the list, folks.
That's it.
That's the list.
Very short
That's
list.
elite company.
Yeah.
And,
That's elite pitching.
I got to give a tip of the cap here. Like I
Yeah.
said, I've been highly critical. I didn't think Blake Snell had this in him. I honestly don't. I used to not think he had the stones for this, to be honest. I didn't think he had the guts for it.
Well, he
And
does.
I got to eat crow on this one, folks, because he does. And he proved me wrong. And now I'm feeling like the pitching coach for the Padres, who is so highly coveted, might not be so good at his job when he couldn't unlock this in the guy that was clearly wanting it to be unlocked inside of him.
But you also said something interesting. Not every single thing is on Blake's shoulders when he is playing with the Dodgers. When he was at the Padres, there was a lot more on his shoulders because
I
there
guess.
was
I mean,
different
they had
pitching.
Musgrove and
I know.
Darvish was healthier and younger than he is now. I mean, they
Sure.
were a different pitching staff, and they had the
Absolutely true.
horses.
They did, but
He was never like the top guy.
maybe he was hurt. Who knows? Maybe there was some personal stuff going on with him. We don't know.
We don't. The Dodgers, meanwhile, win Game 2 as well. Oh, wait. Before we move on, I want to talk about this bizarre play from Game 1. This has been one of the funniest plays I've ever seen. The ball, bases loaded, Dodgers, deep fly ball to center field, and Teoscar Hernandez kind of botched this whole play because he went back to tag up. The ball bounced out of the fielder's mitt and off the wall, and then long story short is there was a double play. They got Teoscar out at home, and the runner that should have been on third had gone back to second. There was mass confusion going on, and they wound up turning a double play and basically getting out of the inning. And it was one of the more bizarre plays that you're ever going to see in a professional baseball game. And I thought that was really worth pointing out.
Okay.
It's funny that it happened in the playoffs, right? Like
Things happen in playoffs.
it does, right? The ball just has a way of doing
It's baseball.
strange things.
Things happen.
All right. Well, we mentioned the starting pitching in Game 2. It was nearly as good with Yoshinobu Yamamoto on the mound for the Dodgers. The Dodgers win Game 2 in Milwaukee
Yep.
5-1. And Yamamoto gets a career milestone. He throws the first Dodgers postseason complete game since 2004. He also throws one of the first complete games in the postseason, I think, since 2018, is what I read.
Okay.
He and Blake Snell are the first two pitchers since 2016 to throw 8 or more innings in consecutive postseason games for one team. I mean, the Dodgers didn't need this extra help, and now they're just cruising through the postseason like it doesn't. I don't know. The weight has been lifted off their shoulders somewhere throughout this whole thing because they just seem to be carefree and loose and unstoppable, Nika. And they don't even have Ohtani hitting right now. He's going through a huge slump. He's
That's
batting
okay.
less than 200 in the whole postseason.
It's not the Dodgers. It's the other teams. For some reason,
You think they're getting psyched out by the moment? Yeah. I think that has a part to do with it. That hasn't mattered. The only Dodgers blunder, like I said, was really just on Teoscar screwing up that game 1 play. So, well, having said all that, do you think there's any chance that the Brewers can come back in this series?
the same as the Blue Jays, pretty much.
So they should just pack their bags and phone it in.
I really hope one of these series goes the distance.
I was
Because-
hoping so too, and we'll talk about that in a second.
Yeah, I do believe the Brewers might have in them to squeak few wins because the Dodgers are not winning spectacular. They are winning. Yes, the pitching is great, but everybody can hit a fastball.
No, it's not like the Dodgers are scoring even as much as the Mariners have been
Right.
scoring on the Blue Jays. I mean, we're talking about a couple of close games here, 2-1 and then 5-1 with a
Right.
lot of late runs in that second game. So it's literally like 7-2 is the score of the series. It's favoring the Dodgers, but like you said, it's not like explosive offense
It's
like we're
not.
expecting. They're getting it done with the starting pitching just being on lockdown.
That's it. That's really what it is. So at some point, the Brewers need to start hitting, starting play their brand of baseball. Because
They're not playing it. They're doing exactly what the Padres did last
Yep.
year. The Dodgers in the second round. That was the division series, but it feels very similar to that where the Brewers aren't playing their brand of baseball.
Yes, exactly.
Who knows if they can find it back? You know, we were kind of worried about the Brewers the same way we were worried about the Blue Jays and that, you know, that stupid L flag that they held up during their team photo for advancing on to the championship series. It made it feel like their goal this year was to knock the Cubs out of the playoffs and not win the World Series.
Yes, exactly. Both teams that accomplished their mini goals.
Yeah. So enjoy your mini goals in the offseason
there you
because
go.
they don't come with a ring and they don't come with a trophy. They don't come with a parade.
Nope.
Well, I don't give the Brewers much of a chance at all. Tyler Glasnow is going in Game 3, and Shohei Ohtani will be pitching Game 4. That will be his home debut for a postseason start on the mound.
So better get prepared, Brewers.
Yes, the Brewers have not named any starters for Games 3 and 4 yet. I feel like they're going to be more in all hands on deck mode and short leashes for all pitchers.
I sure hope so. I really do hope it goes to 7, but it doesn't look like it.
They've only scored 2 runs in 2 games, and they just seem genuinely overmatched right now. So I'm very fearful for, you know, and when you drop 2 at home, again, you're in the same position as the Blue Jays. Now you have to go into a hostile environment.
So it started with the Phillies,
Yeah.
Blue Jays,
Yeah.
and then Brewers now. All these teams got knocked out. The only team that lost 1 game at home was the Mariners.
Right.
And they came back, and they are still holding out.
They won 2 out of 3 at home. They
Right.
also won a road game at Detroit.
Right, exactly.
And they've won now 2 road games at Toronto.
The question is, any other team wants to beat the Dodgers this season? Or they all funded
I feel like
it?
it's only going to be the Mariners that have a say
Right,
in it. It's going to be
exactly.
up to the Mariners to maybe prevent a work stoppage in 2027 if
Maybe.
you believe some of the reports.
Yeah, well, there's that.
Because, you know, if the Dodgers do go on to repeat right now, the cries are going to get louder that
Oh,
there needs to be
definitely.
a salary cap in baseball because of what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, the only hope of really putting those cries to bed for at least a hot minute is to beat them.
Yes.
Is to have somebody that's not spending like drunken sailors go out and beat them.
Yeah.
Well, you brought it up. I don't have much hope for both of these teams, the Brewers or the Blue Jays. And I just feel like we could be getting to Friday or Saturday night here, and this could all be over.
Yeah, it might.
And that's bad news, Nika.
That's a bad news for baseball in general, not just the series.
Yes, it's bad news for baseball because, obviously they don't get any length or distance out of these matchups. You know, it's bad for revenue, for TV ratings, for advertising sales. It's bad in that regard, right? For MLB. But you know what else is bad? This is really bad. If these are wrapped up, you know, it could be wrapped up as early as tomorrow for the Mariners.
Yeah.
And it could be wrapped up as early as Friday for the Dodgers. But either way, you know, tonight, tomorrow, and Friday, the Mariners have games scheduled. So they're 3 days in a row. Starting tomorrow, the 3 games in LA are scheduled to go off. And if they're over by Friday, Saturday, we're going to be sitting here for over a week.
All for the World
waiting
Series.
for the World Series.
That's
the World
messed up.
Series this year starts October 24th, no matter what. And if you look at the date today, it's October 15th. That's 9 days away. And if these series are wrapped up tomorrow night, Friday night, these teams are going to be sitting around for a week waiting to play each other.
That's horrible.
Last year, there was this whole contingency built in to factor in if this happens. And for whatever stupid reason, it was not put into place this year. I don't know if they had too many problems selling advertising when they were like being wishy-washy about the days or whatever. But come on, give me a break. This is going to affect the quality of baseball we see in the World Series.
I agree.
No matter what. Well, all I really wanted to say about this was this is once again, Major League Baseball screwing up the scheduling, screwing the pooch is what I wrote. Because
So wait, they cannot move the World Series a week earlier?
they cannot move the start time up. They
Why
had
not?
it built in last year. I remember we did a story about it. It was one of the first times that they had did it both for both series. Like if the division series ended earlier for all 4 teams, or at least for 2 teams, because they don't want teams sitting around and waiting. And now what have they done? They've created this awful circumstance where the Mariners could potentially be waiting as much as 8 days before they play their next game, and the Dodgers as much as 7 days before they play their next
That's
game.
awful.
It is awful. And I'm sorry, but nothing in practice will prepare you for this. Even the Blue Jays and the Phillies and all the teams that played in the division series, the Mariners, the Blue Jays, they had to wait only 5 days before they played again from the wild card round into the startup of the division series.
But they already have slots for the existing games slotted in for the
Yeah, they do.
7-game series.
They end
Why
on the
couldn't-
21st.
I know, but why can't we just move the series to those days and take it from there?
Well, Nika, that would just be too smart, wouldn't it?
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I really wanted to just touch on this before we got out of here because this whole postseason scheduling needs to change in the future, I feel like. And there needs to be an acceptance by MLB that you are not the NFL and you never will be as popular as the NFL, at least probably in my lifetime. And I'm saying this as someone in my mid 40s, so and expecting to live a hopefully long and healthy life. And I don't think we're going to see it Major League Baseball become more popular than football in my lifetime.
No.
It's
that's
not going to
gonna
happen. So you got to accept your fate and know your role, and you got to get off of Sundays and Mondays and Thursdays in October when you have your playoffs going on. I don't care. You can maybe get away with it in the wild card round, but that's
Well,
it.
Sure. And shortening the season or lowering the game count is not going to fix the problem.
No.
So
I'm sorry. I don't want to have any nerfing of the schedule. These are men that need to be compared generation to generation.
That's
and the
why
only way
yeah.
that we're going to be able to do that and have any kind of fairness doctrine to go along with it is to keep the 162 game schedule. It's sacred to me. It's sacred. If you don't like it, go argue with a wall or come at me in the comments. I don't care.
all right.
I'm ready for it. You know, like I don't want to see the weakening of society through sports. These men are not getting injured more frequently and more often than they used to because of anything more than they eat crappier food and they don't take care of themselves.
There's also that.
So I don't want to hear the excuses. Like Cal Ripken did it for how many years? He went out there. He was an all-star.
Yeah.
He got it done.
Oh, we know.
We know. I'm not saying injuries don't happen and there's unfortunate circumstances, but
it's
a lot of this is babying and it's getting out of control, in my opinion, to the point where look at what's happening. You have the Dodgers that have their starters going 8-9 innings in the playoffs right now. And you have other teams that can barely go 3, because they're babying their players, in my opinion. The Dodgers are preparing for October. That's different. They don't baby their players. They save them.
They saved them, I know, but that's the difference. The other teams didn't have that luxury to save their pitchers.
It's something that could be debated, but you can make the argument the Mariners have the pitching right now to compete with the Dodgers. They might be the only team that does. So maybe it's a good thing that they're playing them, hopefully. I mean, if they hang on here.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think we've beaten a dead horse here at the end of this show. But if you stayed with us, thank you so much for joining us on this MLB postseason update. We are flying through the League Championship Series in both the NL and the AL right now and getting ready to wait it out for an entire week as we prepare for the ultimate prize in baseball, the World Series. Nika, do you have anything to add before we get out of here today?
Go Mariners.
Go Mariners. I got my Mariners digs on. I'm rooting for Seattle. At this point, I think they're our last hope to defeat the Dodgers and possibly prevent a work stoppage in 2027.